to 4.
Organization.
Wrapping up the big.
Keep it steady 'cause you win and you lose some. I've been running since the day I was born. I'm still working on my style and that new song.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Broken on the Couch, where we talk about life, the universe, and everything between. This week we're going to be talking about meditation. Yeah, I know you read it in the title, but I always like to reiterate because that also puts me on check as well. So, in speaking of meditation, and we talked a lot about medical stuff here recently, between brain aneurysms and just this and that. So might as well jump still on that trend of talking about medical stuff. And now meditation. Meditation is more of a clear your mind and de-stress and de-anxiety yourself of type of medical wise practices. So that and also better yourself type of medical procedures. So, in speaking of meditation, let's just talk about like when it first started and what types there is, because there's like 6 types or 6 or more types. We're focusing on the main 6 as well. So sit back, relax, or if you're driving, pay attention to the road but still listen, or if you're going on a hike and you're listening to this, just relax, let you wander wherever your mind wants to wander, as long as it's still on the trail, because don't want to get lost out in the woods. Okay, so meditation is a practice where an individual uses techniques such as mindfulness or focusing on the mind on a particular object, thought, or activity, train and aware, and achieve a mental clarity and emotionally calm and stable state. Well, I definitely would need some meditation. Actually, a lot of people recommended for me to meditate. And now I'm like doing this podcast episode. Now I'm kind of like really wanting to, just to see if it would actually help me out or anything. So let's keep going. Scholars have found meditation difficult to define, as practices vary both between traditions and within them. And that's extremely true. Like, even I have like difficulties trying to explain what meditation is. Like, I always just call meditation like you're spacing out for a bit and like focusing on either your breathing or a word or something like out in nature, or focusing on something that you're just like spacing out and just letting whatever your soul or whatever you believe in like take control, and to dive into who you really are as a person, either on a spiritual term or just in general, like who you really are. So meditation has been practiced since 15,000 BC, which is a long time ago. For those like who are history nerds like me. Intriguingly, in numerous religious traditions, often part of the path towards enlightenment and self-realization. The earliest records of meditation fall back into Hinduism. I'm not going to read exactly what it is because I know I'm going to butcher the name, and I apologize if I mess up any of the names, but I'm going to try my best. The earliest records of meditation, or Dhyana, come from Hindu traditions of Hinduism, and meditation has a long tradition of being practiced in Hinduism, like what I just said. Since the 19th century, Asian meditative techniques have spread to other cultures, where they have also found application in non-spiritual contexts, such as business and health, which, with a lot of stuff that we're going to be talking about, the different types of meditation, focuses more on the health aspect than it does the spiritual. If you focus more on the spiritual side, pay attention closely to that when I read off those types, or if you want to focus on your health or your business, focus more on the business types. Or if you just want to like listen and learn about all 6, go ahead. I'm going to be saying all of them in general. way back when the English meditation is derived from Old French medicron. I'm pretty sure that's how it's enunciated. And taken from Latin medito, from a verb meditare, meaning to think, contemplate, derive, or ponder. The use of the term medito as part of a formal, stepwise process of meditation goes back to the 12th century monk Guccio II. Apart from its historical use, the term meditation was introduced as a translation for Eastern spiritual practices referred to as Dhyana in Hinduism and Buddhism, and which comes from the Sanskrit root dhyana, meaning to contemplate or meditate. The term meditation in English may also refer to practice from Islamic Sufism or other traditions such as Jewish Kabbalah and Christian Hasidism. I hope I'm enunciating it right. And let's take a little let's go into the ad dimension, because we haven't had that in forever. From like a few episodes ago, like probably more than a couple months ago actually. And let's just go into it and see what Admi has to say about what meditation thing is and everything else like that. So take it away, Admi. Hi, it's your best friend, your favorite host, Brandon here. You know, we haven't had an ad dimension in forever. The last one I think was in March, and that was just talking about Podfest and hopefully the cons that we was going to go to this year. But now that with all this pandemic stuff been going on and everything else going on, a lot of people are making podcasts, I realized, and the best podcast site that makes it extremely easy to do. All you have to do is pay a certain amount of money per month for X amount of hours. You can make as many podcast episodes as you want. They even give you free newsletters talking about how you can improve your own, and they actually give you directions to how you can associate yourself with Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, any podcast that you want to go into so you can have your friends listen to you. You can even get associated with TuneIn, like with Radio ICB, like be on the same site. Or if you're more into Apple Podcasts like me, you can be on the same site as My Brother and Me, The Venture Zone, or any of them. If you go to Buzzsprout, you can pay X amount of money per month. They'll give you free newsletters to help improve. All you have to do is just sign up and say how many hours you want, and just sit back, relax, schedule as many podcast episodes as you want, all from the comfort of just one site. Now it seems pretty cool. And I use this site as well to help promote my stuff, and so you guys can listen to me wherever you listen to your podcast. Just go on Buzzsprout right now. It's, if you want, it's totally free. Or if you want to have more extra hours for X amount of stuff, or if you have multiple podcasts that you want to do, go ahead. You can do whatever you want. It's easy. They make it as easy as possible. They have it go from free to however much you want to pay for, and they'll give you free stuff as well. So might as well try out Buzzsprout. It's extremely fun as well, because you can also meet extremely nice people and work with an extremely awesome business as well. You can put that on your resume as well, and be like, hey, I work with Buzzsprout, the awesome company, the awesome podcast company. Now, I'm not trying to sell you on this, but why don't you take a look at it? Oh, if you're not in the podcast, that's okay, because they do also tons of different shows like me, and if you want to have more of a, if you can't handle listening audio-wise, they also have free access to videos, to how you can make your own podcast. They also have podcasts on the site that you can watch, as I believe. And, well, not sponsored by Buzzsprout, but if you want something else, there's also a Netflix TV show that it's on right now called The Midnight Gospel that is actually based off of an actual podcast. It's called The Midnight Gospel. They actually take clips from Duncan's Family Eye and they put it into it as a show spin. So if you can't listen audio-wise, there's also visually as well. So why don't you go check out Buzzsprout, and also why don't you go check out Midnight Gospel on Netflix right now. Wherever you are. Or if you're driving, just wait until you get back home, or wait until you get back to the office, or wherever you want to go and check it out now. Okay, let's go back into the normal show here, and why don't we listen to what regular me has to say about the 6 different types of meditations? Because I'm just waiting. Well, is it me, but different dimension wise? Different dimensions can be really weird, and we'll discuss that in the next episode, or like in a few episodes from now. So just hang on tight. Take it away, me, before I contemplate my own existence, or our own existence. Well, hello there. I'm back. Yeah, I don't know how me is doing. He's been left alone for like a really long time, for a couple months, so I apologize. I think he's just been binging on podcasts and Netflix shows for the past couple months. No wonder he's brought up Midnight Gospel whenever he was trying to do an ad. What is wrong with him? It's me, by the way. I'm ad me, and also I'm normal me. Oh, let's just get back into it before and confuse any more people and confuse myself by being at it. So let's talk about the 6 different types of meditations. There's probably more than 6 different types, but this website, Healthline, broke down 6 different types of meditations that you can do, and for some of them they are pretty famous, and you'll see them in shows and movies and books and stuff like that. So now you will actually know exactly what is called whenever you see someone meditating and then go like over and over and over again. So let's get into it. Number 1 is mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness meditation originates from Buddhist teachings and is most popular meditation technique in the West. In mindfulness meditation, you can pay attention to your thoughts as they pass through your mind. You don't judge the thoughts or become involved with them. You simply observe, take note of any patterns. This practice combines concentration with awareness. You may find it helpful to focus on your object or your breath while you observe any bodily sensations, thoughts, or feelings. This type of meditation is good for people who don't have a teacher to guide them, as they can be easily practiced alone. Also, mindfulness meditation is good for if you struggle with anxieties or anything else in between like that, and that would help you control them and help you possibly the anxiety self. So I'm definitely going to try that as well. Number 2 is spiritual meditation. Even if you go to church, praying is kind of like this, as that's what they kind of put as well. So spiritual meditation is used in Eastern religions such as Hinduism, Taoism, and the Christian faith. It's similar to prayer in that you reflect on the silence around you and seek a deeper connection with your God or universe or whatever you believe in. Essential oils are commonly used to heighten the spiritual experience. Popular options include sage, cedar, sandalwood, incense, and stuff like that. So spiritual meditation can be practiced at home, on a place of worship, or practice beneficial for those who thrive in silence and seek spiritual growth. I unironically did spiritual meditation without realizing it, because I was at church praying, and then it kind of ascended to that higher plane of how meditation kind of works. I did it once or twice, and it was actually pretty cool, and I highly recommend it. If you do go to church, it will help you enlighten yourself as well and try to focus on the deeper meaning of life, the universe, and everything. Not trying to quote The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and that podcast, but it will help. And speaking of helping, focus meditation to help you keep focused. No pun intended. Focus meditation involves concentration using any of the 5 senses. For example, also focus meditation is the most commonly used meditation in pop culture. And you'll hear why. Focus meditation, of course, using any of the 5 senses. For example, you can focus on something internally, like your breath, or you can bring in external influence to help you focus your attention. Try counting the beads. If you wear beads, you can try counting them. Listening to a gong, staring at a candle flame. You can be like the Red Woman from Game of Thrones, maybe. Also in this practice, maybe similarly simple in theory, but it can be difficult for beginners to hold their focus for longer than a few minutes at first, and if your mind does wander, it's important to come back to practice and refocus. As the name suggests, this practice is ideally for anyone who requires additional focus in their life. Also, when I talk about number five is also a extremely popular meditation thing that's used a lot in pop culture. Number 4, movement meditation. If you're on a hike right now, this is a good one for you. If you want to use this actually right now as you are listening to me, or if you want to do this after this episode, because this episode's almost over. So, although most people think of yoga when they hear movement meditation, this practice may include walking through the woods, gardening, or other gentle forms of motion. If you're walking through a hiking trail, like I stated at the beginning of this episode, and right now as well. It's an active form of meditation where the movement guides you. Movement meditation is good for people who find peace in action before to let their minds wander. Number 5, mantra meditation. Mantra meditation is also very big in pop culture as well. In words, mantra meditation is prominent in many teachings, including Hindu and Buddhist traditions. This type of meditation uses a repetitive sound to clear the mind, as it can be a word, phrase, or sound, such as probably and that's why it's kind of the most iconic of pop culture, because it's kind of the most simplistic. It's not simplistic, but it's the most kind of eye-grabbing and ear-grabbing type of meditation, because you hear this constant as the user, as the person that's trying to meditate, is trying to focus on themselves. It doesn't matter if your mantra is spoken out loud or quietly. After chanting the mantra for some time, you will be more alert and in tune with your environment. This allows you to experience deeper levels of awareness. Some people enjoy mantra meditation because they find it easier to focus on the world than on their breath. This is also a good practice for people who don't like silence and enjoy repetition. Yes, because that's kind of, in being in this office for this is gonna be the last week that I'm gonna be in here. I have been talking to myself a lot more and kind of saying the same stuff over and over again, just to kind of ease my brain of like no one else is here, no one else is gonna like break in, and nothing, like you're not hearing weird noises in the other rooms and nothing like that. So I'm just trying to like ease my mind and like in talking to myself and like trying to find comfort. So that makes a lot of sense. Then also like try to focus myself on doing my work instead of getting distracted. Because like I literally just finished some favorite and the sequel to that, and Rebel, like I'm rewatching Star Wars Rebels right now, and so I'm like trying to talk to myself a lot more just so I can like get myself more focused on doing actual work. So I guess I kind of do something like that, like the number 5, the matcha meditation. So anyway, so here's the last one, number 6, transcendental meditation. Transcendental meditation is the most popular type of meditation around the world, and it's the most scientifically studied. This practice is more customizable than matcha meditation, using a mantra or a series of words that is specific to each practitioner. The practice is for those who like structure and a series about maintaining a meditation practice. And that's kind of like the 6 most famous types of meditations of the world right now. And I know there's probably definitely more meditative styles out there in the world right now. And if you know of any more different styles, please leave it down in the comments wherever you are listening to. And go and check out Buzzsprout if you are very interested in doing a podcast, to make it super fun and super easy to do. And it's super easy to connect to other podcasters like me on that site. And it's easier to do everything from that site, from what I've experienced and for people I've talked to and stuff like that. So yeah, if you lovelies enjoyed this episode, leave a rating down below wherever you're listening to, or if you're listening to us on YouTube, high five that like button with your thumb. And also make sure you leave a comment down below. Again, if you know of any other meditation styles, or if you have a cool meditative way that you do meditate, leave it down in the comments below. I know like for a lot of meditation you kind of have to be in a quiet room with your earbuds in, or doing something that you enjoy, or just sitting and staying calm and trying to focus on something. So, but if you have a cool different style of way you meditate, if you do meditate, leave it down in the comments below, and I would love to read how you lovelies do. And I gotta try meditation. I might like inform you lovelies like in the next episode, like how that's going, or like in a couple months from now, whenever I'm doing the Disney podcast, or like whenever I'm doing the Uncharted podcast, because I'm planning on doing the Uncharted podcast next month probably. That's my biggest, like either next month or October. So stay tuned for that. Also, there's gonna be a bonus episode about Avatar: Last Airbender, probably here in a couple hours, depending on like if I do get it all recorded and edited on time. So if you are in the Eastern Daylight Time, typically the podcasts go up around 7 in the morning. So if you are in the Eastern Daylight Savings Time, the bonus episode will go up around 12. If it isn't already up right now, if you're listening to this later in the day, so you can listen to that right after this episode. So no matter who you are, no matter what you are, no matter what you do, love, respect yourself, also love and respect others. And yeah, next time on the podcast. Bye.